figure it the hell out, because I'm not doing it. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Imai and this is BeatTV. BeatTV is a series on my channel where we watch an episode of a TV show. It's been mostly cartoons, but we've been switching it up while I put my makeup on. And today I'm actually putting my makeup on because I got errands to run, but that also means it's probably going to be that same look. We're gonna switch up the looks, okay? I'm finally working somewhere where I can be more creative with my makeup looks, so I will seize the opportunity and do so. So let's get started. Today we're watching All Grown Up season 5 episode 4 called Superhero Worship. And won't say too much, but Mother's Day just passed, so we might get a little emotion, a little sad. So let's just get into it, I guess. So the episode begins and Chucky is reading his favorite comic book, Armadillo Dave, and they're kind of giving us like a recreation of what's going on. Like we can visually see as Chucky's reading like what's going on in his head. And in the comic, Armadillo Dave is a superhero who turns into an armadillo, and by day he's a mail carrier, by night he's Armadillo Dave. So he is saving the damsel Dara Dark from the villain who's like a magician guy, and his literal defense against these villains is that he curls up into his little armadillo shell and they just kind of get tired of beating the shell and then they go away. And Dara's like, Armadillo Dave, you saved me. I don't know why every time I do a damsel voice they're country. So while Chucky's reading, the rest of the gang they're talking about this project where they have to have a mouse run through a maze and, you know, have the mouse successfully go through the maze, whatever. And what I constantly forget is that Chucky and I know for sure Angelica, but maybe Kimmy too, are a year older than the rest of the gang. I think maybe just Chucky. Chucky's like, oh, well, I did that project last year. Tommy's stressing out about it because he was given this assignment 3 weeks ago and he was given a month to do it. So now he has only 1 week left. So he's looking at the sheet of paper that has the assignment on it, and it has an example of a maze that was created in the past that won the competition. I forgot to mention, it is a competition. Chucky's like, oh, that was mine. I did that. So naturally, Tommy asks Chucky, like, do you mind helping me with the maze then, since, you know, you did yours last year and ended up winning? Chucky's like, sure. The gang goes to the mall to go to the pet store and pick out a mouse. It's so odd to me that the mouse wouldn't be provided. Rather than everyone buying mice and then doing whatever with them afterwards, why not just have like 2 or 3 mice and just keep putting them in everyone's mazes? I feel like that makes the most sense. But what do I know? Because I just feel like this, I feel like a lot of people, well, I don't know why I'm going so hard about this, but I feel like a lot of people would go to the pet store, buy a mouse, use it for the maze, and then set it free. That mouse does not know how to live in society, and then he will quickly be eaten by like a bird. Like an eagle? Like a hawk? Like a big bird. One of those, you know? I feel like it's unnecessary rat mouse torture. Justice for these mice. So the rest of the gang goes to the pet store to help Tommy pick out a mouse. They haven't said so far if any of the other people are participating in the race. The gang is at the pet store looking for mice, and a gang of people walk out of the pet store with their mice, and it's really skimpy in there. But while they're doing that, Chucky's like, I'll catch up with you guys. I'm about to go to the comic book store and get the latest Armadillo Dave comic book. The gang spots a mouse, but it's the mouse that's being used for food for the boa constrictor. So Tommy goes up to the counter and he's like, I feel like you guys are really far away from me doing my makeup. Much better. So Tommy he goes to the guy at the counter and he's like, do you guys have any mice left? He's like, I only have 1 mouse left, but nobody wants him. Now that feels too close. Better. He's like, I have 1 mouse left, but nobody wants him. And then they pan over to the mouse, and the mouse is like on its own podium in its own cage by itself, with a sheet over it, and it has like traffic cones and a barricade. Feed that one to the boa constrictor. At least he'll put up a fight. But hey, it's the last mouse in the pet store, so they take it. Don't even look at the man. They just take him. I might have to cut my losses. No, I'd probably take a bus to a different pet store. Meanwhile, Chucky is at the comic book store reading that new comic. They're in the food court and Chucky's reading the new comic, and in the comic, it breaks the 4th wall, and the guy from the comic book, like, company, he goes up to Armadillo Dave and he's like, hey, y'all gotta wrap this up because you're being discontinued.
I came to inform you I'm officially terminating Armadillo Dave comic books.
Terminating?
So this has been cute, but y'all need to hop off these pages because Armadillo Dave is done. And our boy Chucky literally screams in the middle of the food court.
No! Chucky, what is it?
They're killing off Armadillo Dave. This is his last comic book ever.
Gee, tough break.
Sorry, Chucky. Feel for you, pal. Hey, anybody ever try one of those deep-fried pickles on a stick?
And when they go to rope Chucky into the new conversation, Chucky is gone. So back at Tommy's garage, they are making this maze. I think this is Tommy's garage. And Kimmy makes a maze that's literally just one line because it's the most humane thing to do for this rat. But we are forgetting this rat is terrifying. So Lil comes into the garage and she's like, that rat tied up? And of course, our boy Chucky, who is currently too busy being devastated, is nowhere to be found. Also, two things. One thing I loved about The Weekenders is that they had title cards for what day it is. I understand it was the theme of the show, but like, I need timelines. Is this the next day? Is this right after the mall? What is this? And also, I love that in every episode, this strand in front of Lil's hair changes colors. It was probably one of my favorite things about this show, as well as the fact that they had like a good number of outfits that they rotated between. Dill comes into the garage and he's like, hey man, sorry I missed you guys at the mall. I can't believe Chucky did this maze. It looks horrible. And Tommy's like, Chucky didn't do it, I did it. Chucky is a goner. Like, he disappeared. He went AWOL on us. And Dill is fearless. Dill walks up to the cage and puts his little finger inside. And they're like, yo, bro, you really don't want to do that. And of course the rat is terrifying, so they quickly exit the garage and try to find Chucky because, you know, he did say he would help. They go into Chucky's room. Well, they're outside of Chucky's door and they're like, you think he's still upset about Armadillo Dave? And Tommy's like, well, no way. Chucky could be a little bit of a... Okay, they didn't phrase it this way. I'm phrasing it this way, but this is what they implied. Like, Chucky might be a little bit of a dork, but he's not like that, you know? Like, I don't think that would tear him up like that. And then they open the door, and Chucky is kind of sitting in front of an Armadillo Dave shrine. And, he's not doing well.
Chucky?
We are in Chucky's room. The lights are on now. I forgot to mention he was in his shrine in the dark. Tommy goes like, I didn't even realize you were that into Armadillo Dave. Chucky's like, yeah, I guess I didn't either until he was ripped away from me. And you know, they're trying to cheer him up, like at least you had, you know, a decent amount of time with him. And looking around this room, Chucky has Armadillo Dave everything. Posters, he even has a nose hair trimmer that of course Dill... No. Did I call Phil Dill when they were at the pet store? I definitely called Phil Dill when they were at the pet store. Phil tries. I'll have too many rhyming names in this damn show. So Tommy's like, we should do something to get your mind off of it. God, what could we do? Maybe we can build the maze? Chucky shuts that idea down very quickly. He's like, I cannot think at a time like this. This is a tragedy. And he rolls up in his Armadillo Dave sleeping bag. And with those, what is it called? I haven't seen one in a million years because they've become obsolete. I don't even know if they make them anymore. But the thing with the, you put it over your eyes and then you, and it's like different film images. What is it called? Someone get in the comments. Please let me know what is it called. And he's just in his sleeping bag like this, with the Armadillo Dave theme song playing, just being sad. So Lil proposes the question, like, let's say you accidentally flush Phil's pet turtle down the toilet by mistake. What would you do? And Phil says, well, I'd be really sad, but then I would just go to the pet store and get a new turtle. So they come up with the idea to find a new superhero for Chucky to obsess over, just to replace Armadillo Dave. So at the comic books, well, also they now have to go to the pet store to get Phil a new turtle because Lil actually did that. But at the comic book store, they're going through some comics, you know, maybe what about her? What about this guy? These guys seem cool. And Chucky's like, nothing can fill the hole that Armadillo Dave has left in my heart. And on the wall, Tommy sees a poster for a comic book convention at Schuster Center. And they come up with the idea of going so that they can meet the guy who draws Armadillo Dave and convince him to keep drawing him. And that's exactly what they do. Y'all are 11 and 12. How are y'all? Are y'all just taking the bus all these places? So at the convention, there are superheroes everywhere. Lines are long, people are in costumes, and they finally see the Armadillo Dave booth I have never been to a convention, y'all. The only convention I would want to go is the Bronner Brothers one. Chucky's like, awesome, let's go over there and see and ask when Max Leopold is the name of the guy who draws Armadillo Dave, and let's see when he'll be there. And it's just a guy in a suit, and he's like literally just eating a pizza. And Chucky asks him, I should not be talking while doing this part of my makeup. Chucky asks him, when will Mr. Leopold be here? And the guy in the suit is kind of like, no idea. They just told me to sit here and put this suit on. The superhero at the booth next to him, I think they said his name was Newtonic Man or something. He was like, try never. The guy who draws him, Max Leopold, he lives in some retirement home somewhere, and he never leaves his home anymore. He like doesn't come to stuff like this. The gang is not the gang. Tommy is making the decision for the gang. And he's like, man, we tried. Sucks. Let's go home. My maze is due tomorrow. I have nothing done. And you said you would help me. Let's go. And Chucky's like, Armadillo Dave would not throw his hands up and quit. He would figure it out. Okay? And this, I said it in my other all grown up video with the cursive reptar where I can't remember who was doing too much. Why is my cat Cullen? Why is he trying to get in the garbage? Chucky was doing too much in the cursive reptar. I said this is where the tide changes. I think did they make the same episode twice? Am I reviewing the same episode? And then this is where we've decided that Chucky's doing too damn much. This is where it ends. This is where it ends. Tommy's right. We've done all that we can do. I'm not gonna go to a retirement home and disturb that man in his house. Especially when my assignment's due tomorrow and you said that you would help me. But on the other hand, if I were Tommy, I'd be like, okay, he ain't helping. I gotta figure this out by myself. You said you were gonna help me. Looks like you're not doing that. I gotta go do what I gotta do. So at the convention, they run into Harold, and he is dressed as Killer B-Boy. Chucky's like, that's a superhero? And Harold's like, well, he's better than that Armadillo Dave dude. And Chucky is ready to throw down behind Armadillo Dave, and he's in there with his like kung fu moves. And Lil is like, y'all, this is embarrassing. More for me than you, obviously. My favorite thing to say is, I'm embarrassed and there's no one here. I'm embarrassed in front of myself. Chucky, back at home, sets up a map of the United States. The whole United States. And has little dots on them for all of the retirement homes in the country. That's crazy. They got their phone books out, ready to call. And Tommy's like, ain't no way we're calling all these places. And Chucky is ready to be like, sorry, there's something in my eyeball. Chucky is well prepared to call all those places.
Tommy's right. Why can't there just be a place called Home for Retired Cartoon Artists?
Home for retired cartoon artists and voices.
Ooh, so close.
There he is. And they call it, and he's there. So the security guard at the retirement home is like, only medical personnel is allowed at this time. So Chucky insists that he's a surgeon. And the guy's like, no, you're not. So Dill pushes through and says, you know, when those retired people in there hear that there's not a show tonight, they're going to be devastated. Not me showing y'all my armpit. The security guard is like, what show? He goes, we're carolers. In March? We're Easter carolers. And he breaks out in the song, and I swear I'm gonna put a clip. I sing this song every Easter.
Easter Sunday, it's a fun day. Dyeing eggs, making baskets, walking in a parade. Easter, ooh, ah.
Every Easter. And their Hanukkah Latka song in that one episode that we also did, I think we did, the Christmas All Grown Up episode, I think. I also sing that song too. Not Jewish at all, but that's my jam. And also latkes, y'all ate with that one because those are so good. Gonna add a couple of clips. But essentially, Chucky gets up to Mr. Leopold's room and is pleading with him to continue drawing Armadillo Dave, and he's essentially like, no. He's like, I've been drawing that crustacean for 1,000,000 years. 42. And Chucky's like, he's not a crustacean. He's a word that I can't fucking say.
More TV. See this? Arthritis. From drawing that crustacean for 42 years.
Crustacean? He's a Dasypus hybridus. Mr. Leopold, Armadillo Dave can't be happy how his life ended. Draw one more issue. End it the right way, please.
I'm through with that turtle wannabe. Now I'm late for my sponge bath.
Leopold is essentially like, you need to get out more. Oh my god. Why are we all so mean to Chucky today? This is just how he's coping with his trauma. Okay, maybe Leopold has a point. You went to crazy extensive length to get here. that you should not have taken. You're in my home. That's crazy. Leopold has never said this. I'm saying this for him. That's insanity. You shouldn't have done all that, and I am entitled to stop drawing if I please. Y'all need to get on Wattpad or something and figure it the hell out, because I'm not doing it. Leopold essentially calls him a loser and to find a new hobby, because I'm not doing this for you. And he's valid. That's valid. He don't have to keep doing it. So back at home, like, I'm trying so hard to make these dots look nice, and like on camera they look okay. In person they don't. Back at home, they're in the garage still trying to figure out this maze. The competition is in less than 24 hours and it ain't looking too hot. So Chucky comes into the garage and he's still moping, and Tommy's like, I'm through with this. I don't even understand this obsession with Armadillo Dave. If you're gonna be obsessed with a cartoon character or a comic book character, at least make it a good one. He's a klutz, he's nearsighted, he's a weirdo. Why are you obsessed with him? You said you'd freaking help me. Chucky's like, well, he's nearsighted and a klutz, and so am I. And then here's where the tide shifts back. So Chucky storms off, and back at home he's watching a documentary on armadillos with his dad, and they're sitting on the couch, and Chucky goes, Dad, how did you get over it when Mom died? Chucky! Oh, I'm gonna punch all his friends in the face. And Chucky's dad essentially says, like, I'll always miss her, but I had to take care of you. So I kind of had to pull myself together and do it for you. Oh my God. Mr. Finster. And then in the documentary, they say, you know, armadillos might be a weak and defenseless animal, but they always conquer whatever life throws at them. I don't know why this one's getting me more than Reptar is. I don't know, man. Like the Curse of Reptar, I don't know, man. The way the light hits me. Oh! Eating. So back at the garage, Tommy is still pissed off that Chucky kind of blew him off. I don't understand why Chucky is so caught up on this Armadillo Dave thing. And Dale goes, well, maybe it's not for you to get. More shows need that. Maybe it's not for you to understand, but to sympathize with, because I don't understand a lot of things, but I know if someone's feeling bad, I'm gonna try and help you. Dill, the one with the wisdom, the one who couldn't even talk or pseudo talk while everything was going down in the original Rugrats, too young to even form memories. Our boy was born in the middle of the goddamn series, who should be the least wise, but he's spitting wisdom right now. He goes, we don't know what it's like to lose someone that we love, but Chucky does, and that's his mom. And Tommy feels like a dick, like he should. Let me finish my lips, because I know I look ridiculous. I always put on way too much lip liner and come out like this. In high school, I used to have the perfect. Ooh. In high school, I used to have the perfect nude lip. I don't know what's going on with me these days. I went through a phase of just lip liner and clear gloss, and now I can't remember how to do a good nude lip that doesn't turn out looking like this. So Tommy and Chucky run into each other outside, and Chucky was coming to apologize to Tommy about, you know, being so caught up in his grieving that he didn't honor his agreement to help him. And of course, Tommy was going to Chucky to apologize for not being considerate of his feelings. And then they're like, let's finish this maze. So at the competition, they got their maze ready. And the judges of the competition are the science teacher, Oil Can Bonnet, because Emika was unable to come last minute, and Armadillo Dave, who was there to promote the last issue of his long-running comic. They still have the issue of this insane mouse. So Tommy is in full gear. As Chucky said, they took some advice from the armadillo, and they let this rat out of its cage, and oh my god, it's like growling and feral and disgusting. So at the competition, Armadillo Dave is walking around with his clipboard and his pencil, and he drops them both. He manages to pick up the clipboard, but when he goes to bend down and reach the pencil, the shell on the costume kind of restricts him a little bit, and he falls over backwards into someone's table, knocks their rat out, and then all the rats are knocked out somehow. I don't know. He's a klutz. He's knocking everything over. And Chucky's over there giggling, hee hee ha ha, and laughing it up at this man. And we don't even get to see anyone do their mazes. Tommy's terrible feral rat ends up getting out of his cage, and everyone's afraid of that. But Chucky ends up saving the day by picking up this disgusting feral rat with his bare hands, and Chucky is now the hero in Armadillo Dave's story. So back at Chucky's house, he is at the garbage throwing away all of his comic books and his Armadillo Dave merch. All of them, you could keep a couple. This guy meant a lot to you for a long time. But hey, what do I know? In the end, Chucky says he doesn't need a hero to believe in anymore because he is a hero, and he also doesn't want to end up like Harold, being Killer B-Boy, still running around the neighborhood in his costume. In the end, we get a fantasy imagining of Armadillo Dave telling Chucky, "You'll be just fine without me." I have to sneeze. And Chucky knows he'll be okay. And the end. Really cute. Literally, you saw midway through, I was like, they kind of made the same episode twice. This is just the Curse of Reptar, but with a different thing. But this one hit a little bit harder because it directly addressed the trauma, and it was the trauma of Chucky's mother, and not the longing for childhood thing. So I think that this one had more impact, but it would have way more impact if we didn't just make this episode 2 seasons ago. Overall, I really like this episode. We don't have enough cartoons talking about unhealthy coping mechanisms. Ooh, you know what we should watch? We should watch the what was it called? The Mocha Loco Frothinator episode of As Told by Ginger. We don't watch a lot of season 3 of As Told by Ginger at all, and maybe we should watch that. Let me know what you guys want to see. I did see some recommendations in the comments of my last one. Thank you so much for those. I do plan on being back on track. As you guys know, as you may know if you watched my vlog, I'm starting my dream job on Monday. It is Friday, so I'm stockpiling videos so that I have videos for you guys as I adjust to my new job. If you are watching this, I have already started my new job, maybe yesterday, depending on when this goes up. That's what's going on now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Leave comments below. Disclaimer, if your comment does not go addressed, like if you make a recommendation and you don't see it for the next few videos, it's because I'm stockpiling videos now. It's just because I've had these videos in the archives, so I will get to your requests. The best way to send a request is to email me at imaisface@gmail.com, because that's the best way for me to archive it and see it and refer back to it. If you put it in the comments, it'll get lost in the comments. And before we go, all of my resources for Palestine are still in the description. Did I add something else in there? I did. Before I just had the Palestinian Medical Relief Fund. Now I have resources to contact your local representatives about Palestine. And the hint for next week's episode is down there as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. I will see you next time.